I have an interesting question, and obviously you mentioned you lived in like Middle East when you were younger and stuff like this. Like a lot of people on the podcast shit on the UK.
Yeah.
You live in the UK.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's your thoughts on that? And what's your thoughts of like, now that obviously you started to kind of earn more money and like the internet money bubble is like, oh, get out of the UK and go here and go here and go here. So what's your thoughts on that? It's like, what's your thoughts on like Dubai, which is interesting.
So,
and then also kind of moving out of the UK, and is that something you would want to do?
So I have a mixed view on the UK. So just to touch that point. So I don't like the way the UK is from a political perspective, but I do think as a country, there's lots of great places in it, lots of places to see. If you like history, or if you like, I sound so old now, but you know what I mean? There's history there, there's stuff to do.
I would agree
there's
with
great
that.
places to go.
Like London and stuff like it's like crazy. Like
Yeah,
the amount of history and the amount of building.
Yeah.
It's
And
crazy.
you can live a really good life in the UK still. You know, I personally wouldn't live in direct city centres just because there's too many fucking people, and I hate people. But so in that respect, I'm not a fan of the UK. In terms of the type of life I want to live, I don't know. Maybe I did it in reverse. So when I was younger, I lived in Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, Kuwait, like Dubai for a few months as well when I was in Abu Dhabi. But obviously that was pre the overly westernization of Dubai. But like it was still a very different world. Like I remember when I came back to the UK in 2000, I was 16. It may make everyone feel really young now because I'm so old. But like I remember, and everything was strange to me. The cars are small. The houses are small. Because I grew up in a world where there is no, and you know this, like it's not real, like living in that part of the world. If you're from the West and you're living in the Middle East, you're living a type of life that's most of the time, you're probably living a type of life that's not comparable to living here.
Or anywhere else.
It's not real.
It's not real. It's such a...
Yeah.
It's very
and I don't know.
unusual.
So for me, I kind of feel like, oh, well, that was cool. But then when I came back to the UK, there was a sudden reality check. And I don't necessarily have a desire to live like that again. I mean, it's nice, but I don't actively think like that. So I think for me, I'd like to go to different places in the world, but I don't have this particular desire to say, I definitely want to be out of this country. There's lots of benefits for all its faults here, and there are a lot, but there are everywhere. That's the other thing. I think sometimes people might look at Dubai and think, oh, it's the best thing, it's paradise. And it's like, there's lots of issues there as there could be anywhere. And anything that seems great eventually changes. You know, there was a point in time, if you go back 10, 15, 20 years, people's perspective on the UK was very different to as it is now. You know, and maybe we are going on a bit of a slope, as is America and some of the West in general. But everything comes in waves. You know, nothing lasts forever. So I think it's about taking what's right for you in the moment and don't get too locked onto, I really want to be in this particular place geographically. The landscape of the world will change constantly.